So I want to talk about how the rubric is applied in the context of skill mastery. But before I can do so, I want to talk about what are these skills in the first place. So these are science and engineering practices as demonstrated in the context of biology. And they account for 60% of the students' grade in my class. Why though? Why so much? Well, it's not that the content doesn't matter. It does. Biology is pretty useful for real life. The future is going to depend on things like genetics and ecosystem ecology, right? But educated decisions and a citizen of the future is going to need an education in biology to be a part of society. But it's not every day you're going to use that. And not even if you follow a science career, you're not necessarily going to use high school biology every day. So it's not the content that I want to really stick with you. I hope some of it does, but the skills of applying that content matter more because you can use those skills in any context of your life. And I'll show you what they are in a second. And hopefully, after that, it will make sense. These are things that make you a better thinker, a better person in general, an educated, critical thinker. So, what are these skills? If you go into the same document that we looked at earlier that has the rubric, but scroll down past the rubric, you will see a list of the skills that I'm talking about. And these are asking questions and hypothesizing in biology. So that means like making predictions and trying to find something to examine in the first place. Developing models and using those models in the context of biology. That means representing a phenomena with a physical or diagram model or a diagram, and then using that to actually test something and compare it to other models. Planning and carrying out investigations. That's actually testing the ideas or hypotheses, and either by conducting an experiment or designing it or both. After you design an experiment and do it, you usually get data. Or maybe you have a chart with data that somebody gives you. Can you get that data and analyze and interpret it in the context of biology? That's another skill. A good way to do that is to apply mathematical and computational thinking to do things like averages, ratios, create graphs to represent data. Can you do that? That's another skill. Making connections between different sources of data in order to be able to construct explanations that carry meaning in the context of biology, right? Can you do that skill? Can you engage in argumentation in biology? Can you gather the evidence and use that evidence to justify a claim, a position that you make? And how do you get evidence in the first place? How to find research different sources to obtain, evaluate, and communicate information about biology to others? Can you find sources, put them together, and teach somebody the information? So this is the main skills that we're going to tackle this year. Now, in the context of the projects and that we're going to do and activities, you might also hit some additional skills, which while will not be graded, for the main part of the grade. If you do well on them and they help you, I will include them in your grade. So just kind of think of them as bonus skills. And these are engaging in discussions, which we'll do a lot in class, participating well, listening well, using evidence to defend your points when you say something, evaluating arguments. Can you look at somebody else's arguments and see if you should give it credence? Is this a valid argument and why? Can you define a problem and then come up with a way to try to solve it? Can you put together an oral presentation or a multimedia presentation that is engaging and helps others understand a topic? These are examples of skills. Now, think about it. Arguing, evaluating arguments, solving problems, engaging in evidence based thinking, communicating, checking sources, obtaining sources, finding best sources, making connections, explaining things to other people, doing mathematical analysis, analyzing and interpreting things, investigating things, coming up with predictions. These models, these are skills that can be helpful in any aspect of your life. And that's what I'm going to be focused on. Now, if you actually click on any of these skills within this document, it will show you the benchmarks for each skill. But I'll talk more about these benchmarks, each one of them for each skill in the context of other videos as we go throughout the year. I'll see you guys then.